Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to continue with my super insulation of my post frame woodshop. And what we'll be doing today is putting in thermal breaks. And what the thermal breaks are is just we're stopping the cold air from the outside from thermal bridging through the structural members of the building, like this column or this diagonal brace or any of this stuff around the windows. So like right here, let's put this in here. This airspace, a dead airspace, is about R1 per inch. This foam is R7.5. The structural member is about R1 per inch as well. So this would be R5.5. This is R7.5. So you would have a total of about R13 right here. But if you didn't do that in this area, you would have about R7. I'm also going to be putting foam on the front of it as well. Let me show you some of the stuff here. These are the different types of areas. This one here, you have a gird on the outside and you have foam on the inside. That's going to be R1.5 either for the gird or for airspace, R5.5 for the column, and R7.5 for foam on the inside, which would give you R14.5. Then you got places where it's foam on both sides of a column, which is going to be R20.5. And what is this? This is foam, and then, we got foam and then one of the diagonal braces, and then we have compressed insulation that should be R19, but because it's compressed right where the brace is, it'll be about R14. And then we have 1.5 inches of airspace in front of that. That's going to come to R24.5. This right here, this is a normal bay. You have 1.5 inches of air on one side, 1.5 inches of air on the other side, and R19, that's just the normal fiberglass insulation. That's like that big bay right there. You're going to have a total of about R22. All right, a quick little lesson on heat loss. This line right here represents heat loss, and you can see you get really diminishing returns the further out you go. At R14, which is basically 3.5 inches of fiberglass and your structural members, you get a huge bang for your buck compared to nothing at all, which would come out to about R2 just for the siding and stuff. And then from R14 to R20, you get a lot less bang for your buck, but you still do trap a lot of heat loss. But then when you go from R20 to R40, it's incredibly diminishing returns. It's really not worth it. It's a lot better idea to stop thermal breaks and to make sure everything's completely sealed than just adding more insulation. Adding more insulation really isn't going to get you anywhere. One of the things you can do, see, this is a normal column and a truss on top of it. This is only, I believe it's 7.25 inches, and you want about 15 inches of insulation up in the trusses up here. So you're not going to get that with a normal 7.5 inch heel. Your 15 inches is going to start way out here somewhere, so you're going to get a lot of heat loss right through there. On this building, we have a 16, well, it's actually 16.5 inch heel. This right here is 16.5 inches. So we're going to have full attic insulation all the way completely over the wall. So we're going to have roughly R20 in the wall and roughly R60, I believe, up in the truss area there. And the front of this, we're going to have a vapor barrier here and here, and we're going to make sure there are no openings, not even little pinholes. We're going to cover everything up. So places like this is the outside of the building right here. We only have 3 inches of wood here. So I'm going to put 4 inches of foam just in this area. Then it's going to be normal fiberglass there. I'm going to put foam, this XPS, just like this right here. I'm going to put that behind there. And then the fiberglass is going to go right across the bottom here. More fill here. This is the one I just used to show, but there'll be a full piece in there. But then these diagonals are going to have a piece of foam behind them that sticks out yay far on both sides, all the way up. In earlier videos, I'm not sure if I showed it or not, but I have insulation that goes all the way back until it touches the outside back here. And then insulation that goes all the way back and touches that insulation. So it sticks out a bit here, sticks out a bit here, and completely seals this off from the outside cold. And then once I get the girts on the inside, I'm going to cover the inside of these as well. And when I'm done with it, it's going to be a super warm corner. I have some to do in the office area, but I'm not going to concentrate on that right now. What I'm going to do is start at this window and end up at that other window and try to get everything in this area done today. All right, what I'm doing here is I'm going to cut one piece as a template, and then I should be able to cut 6 of them just like this. Make my mark right there, and we're up to the corner. Down there, and right there. It is really cold out here. I'm trying to wear gloves, but it's hard to do stuff with gloves on. All right, and then connect them 2 lines. Alright, there's my mark right there, and I'm going to go a little ways away from it so that it'll go in easy. And with any luck, I'll be able to get 2 out of this. Just like that. I'm going to try to cut this angle, just doing this by eye. I'll put this piece in up there, and I'll cut another piece with an angle like that. Okay, and then the insulation that goes behind this column will go right up to that, and we'll be all snug and warm. All right, I gotta go cut another one of these for the other side. All right, I have one diagonal done. I'm going to leave the tops square like that, big and square on these two ends here. Now, I need to cut up some more foam, but I'm wondering how much foam I should cut up. I don't want to cut up too much and have a bunch of little pieces. What I think I'll do is cut up 1.5 of these, and if I need any more, I can always cut more. Little tip on cutting this stuff on a table saw. When you first start your cut, you're going too slow, but you have to do that on purpose, so it starts melting the foam. So right when you first start, it like jitters a little bit because it's melting the foam. And then once you have the blade into the foam, you got to speed it up. Then you get a nice smooth cut. But as you can see, here and there, it's going to melt a little bit. Yeah, the speed of the saw blade itself will melt this stuff and makes it a little difficult to cut, but it's not that bad. All right, I think I need to cut a couple more of these diagonal ones for that side. I have the bottom one cut, so I got to cut 2 more and then do that top piece. Then I think I'll come back and do the window. All right, I generally like to do the hardest stuff first, so I think I'll do these back diagonals. This is going to be a different angle than that one because these columns are 8 feet on center on the side and 9 feet on center on the back wall here. So see how much of an angle that, or how much of a difference that is. Yep, that's a pretty big difference. You could see it right there. So what I'll do is stand this off like that with a piece of foam, just like the last one, and mark my cuts, and we'll get the template cut. Okay, a little bit of a problem. Not really a problem, but it's something that I didn't work out yet. The foam is going just fine, although it is really, really cold in here, and I'm going to have to go warm up. I have the foam down here and working all the way up. I just need to do the top. That stuff's already cut, except for them top pieces. The problem is I don't have the fiberglass figured out for this corner. See, I gotta put fiberglass from this face over to this face, which would be just fine, and I could run a girt right through here. But then, how do I do this right here? Because this is narrower than this. So what I'm thinking I have to do is put the insulation in this bay and then run the girts. Then I can run the other girts right into it, like right here, and put a joist hanger on it. But then I would need to have blocking back in here for the insulation. Oh, it's possible I can do it a different way. That's what I got to go figure out. And because it's so cold out here, I think I'm just going to go warm up, get that figured out. This may run into 2 days, but I'll keep it all in the same video. I'll let you know what I come up with in just a minute. All right, I figured this out last night. It's the next day. Once I have the insulation completely done in this bay, it'll be stapled onto here. I will put the gird on about like that. Then I'll put some cleats on, and those will go, hopefully I can get this done. Those will go on something like that. Then, after I get the insulation in this bay here, then the girt will go on like that, and I'll use an L bracket right here to fasten it on. It'll look something like that. So, in the areas where I have this cleating to attach the fiberglass to, I'm going to have to add some foam behind that so I don't have a thermal bridge right there. And I'm going to need to attach that with some plastic caps. They're nails with a plastic cap on. Let me show you those real quick. This is a plastic cap. All it is a nail with a plastic washer, and that doesn't stick through that far, but it only has to hold for a little while. What I'm going to do is apply Great Stuff glue to this, put my foam in place, tack it in place with these plastic caps, and then once the glue dries, that'll hold this in place. These won't be doing very much. So what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to keep blasting away at getting foam in, and then tomorrow it's going to be a lot warmer in here, so I should be able to get the foam on these with some plastic caps, but I won't be able to get the foam on these until I get the insulation on this wall. So that's going to have to wait probably a week before that's going to happen. But when I do get to it, I'll show you how I do it. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm freezing my butt off out here. Just thought I'd show you a few details before I go. This insulation here goes all the way back to this wall, and then this one meets it. So the entire corner is insulated. Down here, we have a nut or a bolt going through and this plate here. So I just filled that with fiberglass insulation. That goes all the way up, and then I have the two big pieces up on the top there. This right here, you can see there's fill right here. Let me show you how that works on this side. I pushed my 1.5 inch insulation all the way over. This is 2 studs here, so that's a big thermal bridge. I wanted to kind of stop that. So these are pushed all the way through. Then I filled this back area with loose insulation. Then it has batt insulation. This is for a 3.5 inch wall. Let's see if I can do that. And then that's filled with that, as you can see on this side. And then later on, let me show you that too, around the window, this will have 1.5 inch foam like that right up to the windowsill, and then it'll have inch thick foam with 1/2 inch whatever. I'm not sure what I'm going to use, but it'll have some kind of 1/2 inch material, some kind of wood or something on the inside, but it'll have 1 inch foam going back to the window like that. So these windows will be pretty darn well insulated, but even at that, windows are always a big source of heat loss, especially like right in this area. That's just 2 inches of 2x4 and no insulation. So once that 1 inch of insulation is in there, it'll have some insulation, but this area is always going to be a little cool. This insulation right here goes all the way through, and then it has just this loose fill. When I put the big batts in here, I'm just going to peel off a little bit right in this corner and then cover that right up. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to peel off a little bit for right here. And then when I put that insulation on the face, again, like this, I'm going to go yay far with it so I don't have thermal bridging in that area. Altogether, this is going to be incredibly well insulated. Should be nice and toasty in here in the winter. Up in here, this pocket right here, I have wiring that's going to go through the wall, and once that's done, that's going to be filled with loose insulation. Then I'll put batts across here. I'm going to have the Insulate strips through here as well. That'll be kind of interesting when I do that stuff. There's going to be some interesting details around the door as well. I'm going to have to foam down in there. I'll probably just foam this entire cavity right here. That's kind of too thin to insulate. Well, let's take a look. Yeah, I'll probably foam this. I have Great Stuff Big Gap, and that should fill that right up. Fill it right to the surface and then trim it with a knife. So I have a lot of this stuff cut already for this side, and some stuff is installed already, so it won't take too long to do this other side. The problem right now is that it's so darn cold out here. After an hour or two, I have to run in the house to warm up. And that's just because there hasn't been any sun. The sun just came out today. Tomorrow, it's going to be sunny all day. And it's about 20 degrees warmer in here when the sun's out. So I should have a good day tomorrow. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.